All right, so welcome to today's episode. I have these 4 images I selected from a recent event I did for a couple. It was actually a same-day event, so we did everything, the engagement and the wedding, on the same date. And I've picked one image from each of them. I want to demonstrate how I go about my retouching. So if you're a beginner and maybe this is your first gig, or you're about to win your first wedding gig, you are looking at how you are going to retouch it and deliver it to the client. I'm going to show you how I go about the Lightroom process and the Photoshop process. So especially with this particular image, you see the room was very small. There wasn't much space in the room, so I could only position my light like right to the wall, and the space between the subject and the light wasn't too much, so I couldn't diffuse the light so well. But then I tried my best. You can see that there is a bed behind the bride, a very small space. So I had to come out from the room and stand outside so that I just can shoot through the door, and that is how I got this image. But then now in the frame I have the octabox here, and that's why I've picked this particular image, so that if you're a beginner, you want to learn how to sometimes work on some of these challenging issues in post-production, then you can also learn from how I'm going to do it. Actually, I don't know how it's going to go, but then let's all hope and see what happens. So with this particular image, when I zoom in, you can see that the image sharpness is okay, not so tight, but okay. But then the image looks a bit overexposed on her face because of the position of the light. And what I would do is that normally on the basic adjustment, I will just bring the highlights down and probably the whites, very small. And you see it kind of corrects the image. What I will do next is I will give a bit of clarity and texture because of how the image is. I didn't get enough detail, but it's okay. Actually, I use a 50mm. When you look at the histogram here, you find out the ISO I use 100. I use a 50mm lens. I use an aperture of f2.8 and an ISO of 180. Sorry, like I saw a shutter speed of 1/80th of a second. All right, so I will just work on this. I will not move any other adjustment with this particular image. And what I will do is then I will go to the next image. In the next image, I will bring the lights down like I did I can sync settings, but these are different outfit, temperature, and all that. So there are just 4 images that I'm working on. So I just want to just work on each and every one for you to see. So with this one, to the same thing, this image is okay for me. I just reduce the highlight and the white, and then I gave in, like I've added a bit of contrast, in the image. I'm going to add some texture and also clarity. What I normally do, I don't add too much. I just want to make believe. I don't have to add so much of it for it to look weird like this. You see, it's weird. So I just put in a bit. It's there. It shouldn't be too far visible. It shouldn't be all that visible for people to believe that it's there. Just add like something small to it, and when it's okay, just move on. So with this particular image too, I like how the position of the bride, the row of thirds is working here, because the subject is very on the right, the left side, and I have some space on the right. It gives room for the outfit, the tail of the outfit to find rest, and they are all to be found in the frame. And also, like, I like the pose of the bride, really like the pose of the bride. With this image, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look at, you see there seems to be haze. I did a high-speed sync because the sun was so harsh, and we couldn't go to a location. This is just the environment of the church. It was too sunny, and the time was far gone. And looking at the traffic that we have to join to get to the hotel for the exclusive, it wasn't going to be visible. So I decided to shoot the exclusive right outside the church. And it wasn't a very beautiful place, but then we had greenies, and I decided to take advantage of it. I have to leverage. So with this particular image, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to also, because of the highlight in the image, I'm going to reduce the white also a bit, very small. I'm not going to pull it so much. It seems to me there seems to some haze, so I'm going to put in the haze, a bit of it. You see, just that, and consider the before and after. It kind of brings in. I'm not going to do much. I think 12 or 10 is okay. I think 9. Just something inside to But with this particular image, I'm going to change the look and the feel of the green, like, and I'm going to use the luminance and the hue under the HSL. If you don't understand some of these things, I just want you to follow me. I'm going to do an in-depth playlist of Lightroom where I teach everything. So you just have to subscribe and comment. Let me know that you're excited, you want to learn from me, and I'm going to help by putting a playlist of all the various adjustments in Lightroom and all the things that you're supposed to know about Lightroom. So with this image, I'll first want to work on I want to change the mood of the image. The greens, there seems to match yellow, and I really don't like that. I want to make it more green, and I'll go to the luminance. I don't want the background to be so dark. I don't want it to be so dark. I want to put in a bit of light. You see, I want to put in a bit of light. That is the green. Yeah. And let me see if the yellow here. Let me pull the yellow back a bit. Let me put the yellow back a bit. And let me look at the yellow inside of the luminance. I'm going to put it back. So let's look at before and after. I just want to change the feel. There seems to be much yellow in the image, and I just want to reduce it. So I'm going to keep it here. I'm going to add a bit of color grade into this image for the purpose of the look that I want to finally have when I go to Lightroom. I go to Photoshop. So with this, I'm going to, normally what I would love to do is to put a bit of rest in my shadows and a bit of blue in my highlight. So rest in the shadows is too much. Like I said, subtle. We don't want to do things too much. Blue, so blue is too much. It shouldn't be so much. It shouldn't be so much. It shouldn't be. I think somewhere here is okay for me. Let's look at before. This is a bit of color grade into the image. The rest, I think, let me come back a bit. Okay, this one, let me bring it here a bit. Alright, so it seems the image to me seems oversaturated, so I'll go to the saturation under the HSL, and I'm going to pull down the yellow a bit, since the yellow is oversaturated, and a bit of orange too. It seems oversaturated. Go a bit down. That is the rest. Yeah. So you see, just with Lightroom, I've been able to grade this image. Look at it from here to this. Now there's much to be done in Photoshop. I'm going to continue from there. Let's come to this particular one. I'm going to use this image to demonstrate how I retouch, because this image really has enough details in the skin. So much details in the skin. I use a 50mm lens, aperture of 2.8 and a shutter speed of 1/80th of a second, and ISO of 100. I used a continuous light, right at this angle, and I used AD600, yeah, right here. So I use only 2 lights, and this is the image I achieve. I use a 6D Mark II. So you can still use some of these old DSLRs to achieve great results. You shouldn't overwhelm yourself, especially when you are a beginner. You just have to focus on you have to focus on how to get the image right in the element, like lighting, learning the lighting, composition. All these things, when they play out well, regardless of the kind of gadget you are using, you are going to achieve great results. And that is what I want to share with you. So with this image, I think I'm not going to do much. I'm just going to pull the shadows a bit. No, I'm going to reduce it. Other than that, I will little of contrast. I'm not going to do much because the image is okay for me. So first thing, what I do normally is that when I'm retouching, especially with this image, I've picked from different position, like different location and stuff. But if like for instance I'm editing, like I've selected about maybe 5 of this particular setting, like this particular outfit in this particular room, I'll make sure I retouch it in batch so that I will be able to move faster. So I'm going to open all this image in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you some of the technique I use to move fast in my production. All right. So let's see Photoshop. All right. So the first image is in. The second image also is in. The third one is in. And finally the fourth one is in. All right. So one thing I will do is I will want to do the retouch for all the images once. So when I pick the mixture brush tool, I know that I'm holding it and using it for all the retouch, so that I don't have to go back and forth, finish with one, go and pick the mixture brush again, go to the next one, go and pick the mixture brush again, go to the next one. So one thing I do is when I'm retouching and I bring the images in, I'm now focusing on the retouch. I know I have to work on the background for this image and all that, but let me first work on the retouch, right? Well, let me work on the retouch. Okay, you let me first work on removing some of these things. So this particular image has this octobus and the stand here. Let's try how we are going to be able to remove it. Control J, and then we are going to start by, one thing I do is I don't want to do it so big. I want to start gradually, so I will pull this one down here, right, so I can get, so I will do it small instead of trying to do it all at once, because this is not generative fill, this is Photoshop, and the AI that they use for this is not as intelligent as the generative fill. But then if you take your time, you will be able to achieve a very wonderful result, even with the Photoshop content aware field. Or now I'm using the part 2. So now I'm using the part 2. This is how far I've been able to go. It's okay. Let me work on this one too. I can even bring it here. For this one, it's not difficult. I can grab this whole thing, and I have a big space here, so in a similar one here, and I can just, so we are going to take our time to make sure we get it right. We are not going to rush at all. There's no dignity in rushing to create something mediocre, right? It's always great to be patient and to have the best results and to be appreciated and applauded for, than to rush and make nothing. So it's not 100%, but you see, we've done really well just by taking our time. Most amateurs will rush and they will not be able to get these results that I have here. So it's all about patience, it's all about discipline. all these techniques or tools that it teaches us about patience. Life is not about racing. Life is not a race. People say life is a race. It's a race for those who are willing to race. Life is a journey, and you can choose to walk, run, or fly. Either way, make sure you are not killing yourself. That is one thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay, let's do. I think I will reframe this image. For the sake of TikTok, I post on Instagram, but I also post on TikTok. So I normally like to, now at first I used to do 4x5 for Instagram. Now we have other social apps that are doing even great, amazing than Instagram now. So I just do it this way, and I can post in both Instagram and. Let's make sure this one I've checked my content array here, just so that this area, the white area here, Photoshop will create that area for me. So let's wait and see what happens. All right, so this is what happened. I did well, but I don't think it did a great job, so I'm going to maintain the image like this. So like, see, in retouching and editing, there are so many decisions that you make along the way. That's why you need to understand the processes. It's all about finding someone or for copying. It's about understanding the process so that you know the right decision to make pertaining to the challenge that you face in your image. So this is how I've been able to resolve this issue. So if you have any issue with Octabox and all that, I can go further to create a new layer here, and I can sample with the eyedropper tool, and I can reduce opacity and paint a bit of the color here so that I correct that dark here. See, I can go further if I want to be extra perfect, but I'm not looking at perfection here. I'm just trying to create a good better work or a best work, not perfect. So that is my aim. Now that I've corrected this, which is a huge obstacle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start retouching my image. Yeah, I'm going to start retouching my images. Alright, so mostly what I will do is that I will create a new layer on top of the background layer that comes with the image when it comes to Photoshop. Then I will begin to run. Alright, so let's begin with the retouch from this. So I have a retouch action here, that is G-Great FX. I'm going to run it. It's just a simple retouch action, nothing complex. So I will just run you see, when I move to any layer, I have my layer 1 selected, so I'll just run my action. So it's like using this approach helps so that you don't have to be going back and forth, and with that technique you're able to save some time. So I will just be running my frequency separation on all, because already when I get in my layer 1 is selected, I just run it. Then when it's done, I move to the next one. The layer 1 is selected already, I just run it. So now I know I'm done with running. I'm done with having my frequency separation layers on top of my images. So what do? I will just now begin to I will pick my mixer brush, right? So now I can pick my mixer brush. When you hold Shift B, you are able to navigate through the various brushes, and now get to the mixer brush. With the mixer brush, my advice is that you just have to make sure that you've emptied this particular, you just check clear brush, and you make sure you check this one, this thing here, you check it, so that anytime you pick a color from the image, this one will automatically clear it for you. The settings, you just use minimum number for the red load, and you can leave the mixture at a high number in the flow, but you try and see the effect, and see if it's too much, you reduce it. That is how you can go about it, because we don't use the same camera, every camera and the pixels that you have, and depending on that, it will when you brush, the effect on it will be dependent on different factors based on the camera that you are using and the brand, I believe. So you play around it, make sure if you use, for me I'm using wet as 30, low 35, mixer 80, flow 65, and then on your lower frequency, when you are holding your mixer brush, all you are doing is to make sure it's not about retouching, or it's not about smoothing people's face, it's about blending the skin tones. Have that stick in your mind. I'm trying to blend the highlight, midtones, and the shadow in a way that they are not, the transition are smooth, and they are not like inconsistency in the skin tones, right? So yes, the light has done its work, but then sometimes there are some inconsistency, and yours is to work on it. And you don't have to zoom in too much. You can zoom out, and have your mixer brush, then you mix. So this particular one, I'm just mixing in the highlight. Make sure you don't, when you are transitioning to a different mid-tone, you don't just pull one mid-tone, one tone to the other, like pushing the highlight into the shadows, or into the mid-tones, or the mid-tones into the shadows. You are just trying to blend the same tone, right? You are blending the same tone. You are blending the same tones here, right? We are just trying to blend the same tone. And I'm not saying that starting the journey of using the mixer brush for your retouch is going to be easy. No, it's not that difficult, and it's not easy. It requires practice, and the price for being excellent with any craft is practice, right? So if you are not willing to practice, forget. Yeah, that means you are not serious. You are not willing to take your photography to the next level. You are not willing to be proud of your work and excited about it. So I will just tell you the truth as it is. No matter how, as I'm speaking to you, I am using my mouse. I have issue with my my pen, like my Intuos pen, like, yeah. I've not been using it for a while, so I haven't forgotten the name. You understand? So I'm using my brush, and I painstakingly know how to go through the process of learning the technique of doing mixture brush. And you see, just in just few minutes, I've been able to do a complete retouch with my mouse on this, and it's perfect, right? Perfect. It has details, very perfect retouch. No, the inconsistency. That is what I'm trying to talk about. Making it consistent. Sometimes when you look at some of the makeups, you feel like, oh, there's always inconsistency. Yours is to blend the inconsistency. So let's move to the next one. See, I'm still holding my mixture brush too, and instead of going to the next process of that image, no, I won't go and pick any new tool. I will just be holding that same tool, and I'll move to the next image, right? So that the time that we'll have to go and pick a new tool and come back, sometimes how your brain works, leaving one tool and going to pick the next one, coming back to that same tool will take some time, sometimes it makes you even lazy. So me holding the tool, I know that I have to get the job done, and I'm on it, right? So these are some of the technique I use to be able to do. Just today I've retouched like almost 21 images within an hour. And if I'm to show you all like an hour and 20 minutes or so, yeah, if I'm to show you the quality of the image that I retouch, you will be amazed, and the work that I did on it. But because of this technique that I'm using, you see, I just get to one. If I'm just working on retouch, I work on all the images, the retouch. Mostly I do 5 because of the capacity of my PC. Yours might not, but then at least you can do 2 or 3. So now I'm done with this one. Also, I just moved to this one. Still on the retouch, low frequency. Then I'm trying to be fast. So I'm trying to just be fast so that you can know the end results of all the images that we started working on from Lightroom, and how far I've been able to bring it in Photoshop. All right, so yes, let me close it up. Let me get to the last one. This image is a long shot. Not too much retouch is needed here because the image is a full shot. I don't have to do so much, but no, since I'm holding the tool, let me do something, because this is not giving me much detail, right? Because the face is very small in the image. Let's look at before and after. All right, so now I'm done with my frequency separation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the teeth and eye whitening. So with that one, I'm going to apply it on all the images at once, right, individually, like, so that when I'm working on the eye, I know I'm working on all of it, because the eye here is not looking that bright. I'm not talking of white, I'm talking about bright. You shouldn't make the eye white, you should make it bright, right? And I have to change from mixture brush to the brush tool. Alright, so I'm using an opacity of 70. That is what helps me to get a bit of brightness in my image with the action that I'm using. So you can see the before and after. And with this one, I will reduce it a bit, right? We'll go to this one. I don't really have to, it's a long shot, but then I still feel like let me brighten the eye a bit. It will help the eye to catch attention a bit. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll be done very soon. All right, and then okay, let me do this. This one is a long shot. I don't know whether to do it or not. And So just something small. Like I said, to let the eye catch attention a bit. All right. So okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a level. I like adding contrast in my image, so I like to the variation between the highlight and the shadows, very important to me. So always when I work on an image, I try to create that. It's too much here. I'm going to reduce it to 60%. You see the difference with the highlight. A very rich tone, a very rich image. I'm going to work on this same two levels. I can drag and drop the other one, but let me create. I'll mostly hold Alt to find out where there is clipping or there's too much darkness. So you see I'm using the histogram. So now when you see the areas that colors are popping, means that the highlights are coming in. So if I make it too much, it will become white in color. When it's red, it's giving an alarm. Yellow is okay. I think that area there's a bit of highlights here, but then it's okay. You see the difference? You always have to add contrast or a curve adjustment to your image. It really helps with the contrast of the image. I like this image, the mood of it, everything. I'm going to add it to this one. I'm going to create one for this one. Like I said, you can just drag. Okay. All right. So we see this one too. And this one. I will wish to go further with grading this particular image a bit more, but I just want to stop. But you let me take this image further. I've created the stamp visible layer. I've merged all the layers underneath on top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the subject from the background so that I want to change the mood of the background a bit. Okay, so here under the layer underneath, I'm going to use the saturation. I'm going to work on I'm going to the yellows, going to reduce the saturation for the yellow. Let me go to the green and let me reduce the saturation of the green too. Okay, so you see, I just want our subject to be the one in attention. Yeah, our bride, beautiful bride. And then what again? I don't want to do much, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a vignette in this image, right? And I'm going to use this tool called the ellipse to create an ellipse right here close to our bride. I'm going to put a paint bucket of black so that it will max that area out. I'm going to click on the max. I'm going to feather that area so the effect will be only on the background, leaving the subject alone. Let's see. All right. Let me add. Let me add a bit of curve on the subject. All right. I have an action here called reduce red. Let me reduce the red in this image a bit. Yeah. So just by understanding some of these basic stuff, you'll be able to change the mood of the image completely, right? Bringing depth, bringing dynamism in the image, and making the image, owning the image, having a look that is peculiar to you. So basically, this is where I end this particular tutorial. Thank you for watching. I hope you've picked so much lesson from my way of editing, and you just have to follow me. I'll be taking my time to do a playlist, and I'll be clarifying a lot of the areas I did in this image or this tutorial with you. This was more like showing you how I go about retouching and how I go about my work, and some of the possibilities that is available for you as a beginner retoucher, as you hope to do great things in the industry and work for high value clients that will pay you huge money. I'm rooting for you, and you are going to definitely get there. Stay grounded, stay hopeful, and believe in the Lord Jesus, who is willing. He hoped that everything works out for you in this life, and I just trust that you obey Him and you let His Spirit lead you in your work you do with your hands, because the Bible says that the Lord bless the work of our hand. If you need or you want the Lord to bless you, you need to submit to Him and His will, and He will bless the work of your hand. God bless you. Subscribe, follow, and let's do great things together. Bye bye.